Okay, Dot Tone Dan again. In this video for the image setup, I am going to show you how I take an old file that was set up for film separations from Photoshop. And since I received the artwork as pixel art, I cleaned it up and used it as Photoshop steps. And so I'm going to bring this into the iMage Direct. And again, I've done one other video that shows how to do that. This I'm going to do a follow-up for left chest location. So as you can see, that this would be your center mark for the left chest and uh, center mark for your print area. And then this is the left chest center mark. And that's roughly 4 inches. In my case, it's exactly 4 inches from the center. I put a registration mark in there and my color names. It's 2 inches from the top, roughly, is what I want to make it, not including the white halftone dots that will be out there on the blur, but about right to there. And I just want to make sure that I have come up here and drag my line down so that my center mark is in the center and my 0 point starts here, and I can then crop and drag up to about the 2 inch mark. So there is already almost 2 inches there, but I want to crop this down just a hair. And you don't need a lot of extra space down at the bottom, but here's the difference. You see this space over here? I need to have equal space from here to here over to this left side so that the document, the whole outer document, is centered in the screen, not just the left chest area. So you see this little, when I got the crop tool, see this little center point that I have in there. I think that's set up in advance. Let's see where it would be showing. Might be under the like selections so that you have a starting point. Because it can align from like left to right, to top to bottom. And then there's an option in here somewhere to show this little center point. But I click and drag over, straight over to the left. I don't have to hold any option keys or shift keys or anything. I just click and drag over to the left. You can see the measurements there that it's increasing to. And I want to land that little circular crosshair in the center there. And it doesn't have to be precise, but roughly right there. And that's going to center the whole document. I click enter, and that commits it. And then I can go back to my channel and fill that with black in the background. And now I have a whole screen there. Now you can add a registration mark over here if you want, but a lot of people don't. They just, for left chest centers, they got the center mark and then a bottom registration mark and one over here to center, to show center of the artwork itself. And basically now my file is set up to rip properly because I've got this 2 inches of space that's going to push this art, keep the art pushed down to 2 inches in the pusher frame of the iMage. And it's going to center it because my document is centered. My document size and the art is in the right place. That's going to stay there. Now it's going to force it to the top of the pusher frame, which will land right here, and then center it from left to right. So that's perfect. And I click save, delete the other channels that I don't need. These are just like selection masking. And then I delete the RGBs, and then I delete the shirt color, change the white to a color that you can see for both the base and the top white. Make sure they are different colors. And then go to File, save a copy. In this case, I'm going to save it to my desktop. And I'm going to shorten the name, LC for left chest. And say 4 sets. I image, so that they know that it's set up for the I image. And then make sure it's just saved as a PSD, because the I image recognizes and converts everything to bitmaps, grayscale channel separations. So, for example, each color separation, even though it says, and I'm going to copy this so I don't lose it. I'm going to cancel this for a second, but when you double click or only have one channel, and that's a grayscale separation, it would be considered a grayscale file. It can be PSD, but saved in a grayscale color mode. When you have multiple channels, more than one color, it's then going to be a multi-channel file, which is essentially the same thing as a grayscale separation file, a single color, but it has more than one color in it, multi-channel. And as you see, when I step back, let me get out of that, and I had these RGB channels in here. Doesn't matter what I have activated at the moment, but when you go look at the image mode, it's RGB. And if it was a CMYK file, it would have this check marked here. And then as you delete all of these, it instantly becomes a multi-channel. Okay. But if you delete all of these, except for one, it still says multi-channel. I think that's because it was multi-channel and I deleted all but one, but I have not yet saved it as a file. So once I did that, let's say save a copy to the desktop. I'm going to name it grayscale so I can refer to it. And when I go to find it, on the desktop, I never go to the desktop, so I'm scrolling around looking for it. Grayscale, open. And let's look and see what it is now. It still says multi-channel. Interesting. But if you switched it to grayscale, you get the exact same results. There's no difference whatsoever. You can load both of these because this is still, even though I've changed the color mode to grayscale, no tone difference has changed in here. And it would still rip individually in the Photoshop rip folder. Don't save that. So step back and delete these. Again, color your whites and your top white so that you can see them simply. Go to File, save a copy. And in this case, I'm going to put them in this folder, paste that name in there that I used, save it as a PSD, include spot colors. If it's not already checked, make sure it's checked. If it happens to not be checked, there is a potential that you have a color in here that is not colored as a grayscale or not colored as a spot color separation. It might have been just an extra channel mask or something, or not yet converted to spot color. And then click Save. And then that file is ready to drop in. So let's see if I can open up Color Print. And I'll go to Share, Color Print, once it opens up. Taking a minute to load. Share Color Print. And now you see that. So then you simply drop that file in that PSD file, separation file that says iImage into a hot folder on your desktop in the art department, or in the screen room, you can, if you moved it to a jump drive and brought it in manually, or if you've downloaded from a archive or a to rip folder, you might do that, and then you go to File, Add Job, and then go Locate that separation, which I did have it on the desktop, but I put it in my other folder. I have to go find that now. And I would just load that left chest in there. I don't want an alias, so I'll delete that. Copy, paste to my desktop. Click on a folder, right click on it, go to Add Job, go to the desktop. For me, you would have to go to wherever you find that, click OK. You would go to wherever you saved it. And now you see it loads in the correct location, and it's ripping over. One to two different locations, minus an archive, and also print production. And that's it. And then you would find a separation that's ready to print in print production. And that's the end of that. Thank you.